Welcome back. Unfortunately, I fried the new camera that I got, the GoPro, so ended up missing out quite a bit of footage, including removing the bolts for the subframe. But I'm going to go over everything that I did before actually removing the engine. So I have not lifted it up yet. I still don't know if it will clear the rafter with the vehicle above it. But let's get started with what I did since the last video. Not primarily, but part of it, you do have to remove the A-pillar trim. And behind here, oh, there's a grommet. We need that, that's for the firewall. Way deep down in there, there's some bolts, some nuts that holds down the alternator cable. Had to remove that, pull it through. That gets pulled through in here, behind here. And I discussed this bracket before. You just have to undo these, this one bolt and two nuts. This whole assembly will come out. Everything is unplugged here. I'm hoping it's not too much tension there. I'm hoping all this will stay up while we drop the engine. Biggest issue that I ran into, I ended up stripping the drive shaft bolts, two of them, on removal. They got a locking compound on it. And being this car was originally from Montreal, then in Michigan, a lot of corrosion. So what I had to do, what I should have done in hindsight after I stripped it, and I did try hammering in a couple other bolts, was to weld a nut on to the back of it. However, there was not too much room available. So, cut the head of the bolt here, but that doesn't allow enough room to slide the drive shaft back. So, you can actually still see there's a bolt up there and another bolt right here. So I ended up cutting in between while this was spaced apart. Problem with that is got a whole bunch of grease in there. It's like a ball and socket type of joint or whatnot. Some kind of a joint. So I got metal all in here. I gotta clean all that out surgically. Make sure everything is completely clean in there. Last thing I want is, oh, that's where those two bolts are. I almost lost those. Anyway, get all this completely cleaned out. Hopefully there's not too much metal embedded in there. Not too much movement in this joint, because it is going to the solid tail shaft output. I don't know, just gonna hope for the best. Gonna send it. What else? So we removed 4 bolts from this cross member for the trans. These guys I unbolted over here, as we discussed earlier, from the X-pipe. A lot of carbon from a DI engine. I mean, it only runs about 100 bar injection pressure, so it's quite dirty. Poor atomization. Some crud in there. Corroded fasteners. To undo the subframe to actually drop the whole engine, pretty straightforward. There's 2 bolts here, and there's a flange that goes on right here. This is the flange. That flange just bolts up like so. So I'll undo these guys first. Audi says to make sure you do these major 4 bolts. Look at these long suckers. This one and this one over here. Do them in a crisscross pattern and gently undo them. I also made up a little stand here. I hope everything is up to snuff. It won't collapse on me. This isn't the strongest design, but again, just gonna see what happens. So that's it. There's just these 2 bolts back here for the plate. Remove these guys, and there's 2 bolts up here. Here and here, smaller little ones. like this big. Also removed those before those 4 big ones. And then everything just kind of started moving out. I did raise the vehicle just a little bit to test to see if it is free. For the most part it is. I hope that everything else is going to clear up front. This is the first time lifting the engine up. So yeah. This guy over here, in its kind of natural resting position, it kind of pulled down about, let's get out from under here. When I laid it down like this, because it wasn't exactly perfectly shimmed, this was still up high. This dropped about, let's say 8 mils or so. 8 mils. So I think there's going to be plenty of thread engagement when I'm going to reinstall the subframe again to pull that up that little distance. So this, my plan seems to be working so far of, oh shit, what's that? I don't know, let's see. Let's go. All right, I hear things snapping and moving. Well, it's definitely not going to be fun putting this back in. I am going to have some trouble, I foresee.
Deal with it later. So I got the old fuel dripping out.
Alright, this engine's twisting around on me a little bit. I got to pull it this way. Can't drop it all the way because there's a transmission shift linkage as well. I don't say nothing about no heat shielding. I don't know if other people have these problems, but I swear, I don't know if I'm just stupid or I don't know, but I always have some unforeseen problems that always pop up. Like, look at it. I gotta have to bend all these back into position now. Continue your journey upwards. There it is. It's out. Wow. Ugh.